Aha inşallah Havza'ya gitmeyiz.
Adama sığmaya kalandı mı arabayı?
Lan.
On May 12, 2026, severe flooding struck parts of northern Turkey after intense rainfall caused rivers and drainage channels to overflow across the Samsun Province near the Black Sea coast. The worst conditions were reported in the district of Havza, where hours of heavy rain transformed streets into fast-moving rivers, trapping residents inside homes, damaging businesses, and sweeping vehicles through flooded roads. The sudden disaster developed during the evening after meteorological authorities had already warned about unstable weather and possible heavy storms in the region. According to local reports, the Haçı Osman Stream and the Tursikan Stream overflowed after continuous rainfall overwhelmed the area's drainage systems.
Arda çok yükseliyor lan, yemin ederim çok yükseliyor. Abi sen ne geldi?
Floodwaters rushed into homes, apartment buildings, and ground floor shops, while mud and debris spread through streets and intersections. Several cars were dragged by the current and left piled against sidewalks and buildings. In some locations, residents climbed onto higher floors or balconies while waiting for emergency rescue teams to reach them. Videos shared from the scene showed roads completely submerged and emergency workers attempting to move through deep water under difficult conditions.
Allah'ım ya Rabbim sen koru ya Rabbim.
Ama daha gelmeye devam edecek.
Emergency services, including firefighters, police units, AFAD disaster response teams, municipal workers, and medical crews, were deployed across the affected districts soon after the flooding intensified. Rescue operations continued through the night as teams searched flooded neighborhoods, evacuated stranded people, and cleared blocked roads. One widely shared scene showed a truck driver standing on top of his vehicle while floodwaters surrounded him, and rescue workers attempted to reach the area safely. Authorities used pumps to remove water from streets and from the lower floors of buildings where flooding was especially severe. Officials confirmed that at least 12 people were hospitalized with minor injuries during the flood emergency. Most of the injuries were reported as non-life-threatening and included bruises, cuts, and shock caused by the dangerous conditions. Some injured residents arrived at the hospital by themselves, while others were transported by ambulance and emergency teams. Local authorities stated that there were no immediate reports of deaths, which was considered fortunate given the intensity of the flooding and the amount of property damage across the district. Schools in some areas were temporarily closed, while crews inspected roads, bridges, drainage systems, and public infrastructure for damage. Local governments also warned residents to avoid unnecessary travel because some roads remained blocked by mud, debris, stranded vehicles, and damaged pavement. Businesses and homeowners began cleanup operations as soon as water levels started to decrease. But many buildings suffered major damage to furniture, electrical systems, merchandise, and personal belongings. Basement apartments and underground storage areas were among the hardest hit locations because floodwaters entered quickly and remained trapped for hours. Meteorologists said the flooding developed after unusually strong rainstorms formed over northern Turkey and the Black Sea region. Some districts reportedly received a large amount of rainfall within only a few hours, increasing the risk of flash flooding and river overflow.
Ay araba gözüküyor. İçinde biri yok galiba.
Durdurma ya ben sanıyorum.
Weather experts also noted that spring weather patterns across parts of Turkey and southeastern Europe have become increasingly unstable in recent years, with stronger storms, sudden downpours, and rapid temperature changes appearing more frequently. Although heavy rain and localized flooding are not uncommon in the Black Sea region, residents describe the May 12th flooding in Havza as one of the strongest events seen in recent years. The disaster also renewed public discussion about urban drainage systems and flood preparedness in vulnerable districts across Turkey. Some residents criticized local infrastructure, arguing that drainage channels and waterways were unable to handle the amount of rain that fell in a short period of time. Municipal authorities stated that emergency teams had been placed on alert before the storm arrived, and that response operations began immediately after flood reports started coming in from different parts of Havza. Cleanup and recovery operations continued on May 13th as authorities assessed structural damage and removed mud and debris from roads and public spaces. Heavy equipment was brought into flooded areas to clear damaged vehicles and restore transportation routes. Residents worked alongside emergency teams to remove water from homes and shops, while utility workers inspected electrical systems to reduce the risk of further accidents. Although floodwaters gradually receded, the event left behind widespread damage and emotional stress for many families who experienced the sudden flooding.
Araba girdi bahçeye la. İtekle, itekle.
The May 12th flooding in Turkey became another reminder of how quickly severe weather can develop in the region during periods of intense rainfall. Images from Havza showing submerged streets, stranded vehicles, and rescue teams moving through floodwaters spread widely online and across news broadcasts. Authorities continued monitoring weather conditions in nearby provinces because additional rainfall remained possible after the disaster. For many residents in Samsun Province, the flood was one of the most serious weather emergencies they had faced in years, leaving communities focused on recovery and rebuilding after the destructive storm.
Dere iptal oldu. İleride ağaçlar tıkadı.
Arkadaşlar durumlar şu an çok kötü. Havzanın her yeri şu an sel altında. Araçlar filan hep mahsur.
Var içinde de. Aa, kırmızı var bak içinde ha.
Thanks for watching Severe Weather, where we break down the facts behind nature's most intense moments. If you found this video helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe. Your support keeps this channel going. Hit the bell so you never miss a real, calm, and clear report. See you in the next one. Stay informed, stay safe.